Today's date is 11th of April 2026. The time now is 10:31 a.m. And I spend more of my so this video is very important for me to continue. OBINexus session continuity. It's a 50 pence looks in the UK. And why is OBINexus Confederation? OBINexus is a confederation. O for Oscar, B for Bravo, I for Indigo, N for November, E for Echo, X for X-ray, U for Umbrella, and S for Sarah. It's a confederation because of the kind of wars that break up in Nigeria. Wars break out, in kind of local maximum, and the Biafran War was one of the biggest wars that broke out. But Nigeria wars break out because we can't govern ourselves properly. Not that we couldn't because there was too much wars. And if you know Nigeria, there's a lot of local wars between tribal groups. We can't govern ourselves now via OHA, IWU, and IG. OHA is public law, public. IWU is OHA. IWU is Indigo West, the umbrella. And IG is order. It's local governance, decentralized distributed governance model by me, OBINexus Namdi. This matter what is there's a compound in a complex in the UK. The government fully still applies because it's for local, it's for some place to be settled, it's for some place for governance to be. That's what OBINexus matter. It's some place for governance to be, like OHA, IWU, and the G. There's got enough stability that's decentralized and distributed. OHA is a confederation. OBINexus is primarily a confederation before it's a federation, but we are on federation. So it's a confederation which is like localized, distributed governance frameworks before global distributed governance frameworks, and that's what OBINexus represents. It solves the problem of governance as a whole because you can't be stable. You have to ground yourself in some kind of stability before you can unleash to the world and govern other people. Uh, The main problem of next question. The shape of consciousness and perception. The shape of consciousness is a perceptive membrane. The shape of consciousness is a perceptive membrane. We have the hard problem of consciousness. Why are all our spirits unique? Why do they differ in experience? Why do we have slight variation in perspective? And we have the easy problem of consciousness. Why are we conscious? Why are we conscious? Why are we aware of what we're doing? Why do we need to be aware of what we're doing? This is what I call the perceptive membrane. The shape of consciousness is perceptive. It allows you to see more by seeing less. So you can have a focus on some kind of objective. And the membrane is like a system of what membranes are in the biology. The membrane of perception is what consciousness, the shape of consciousness is. And that is why I'm trying to have some kind of system to organize a formal framework so we can classify, not just the shape of color. So, if you have a pattern and there's a silhouette in that pattern, like a donkey that shows up in that pattern, but that point is part of the memories. Say you have color-coded tiles, and they vary from colors of red, GB, IV colors. I have a donkey in that pattern. Am I seeing a donkey? And there's a donkey there. My perception will look at the donkey as a silhouette, as a shape, as a classic, as a figure, that stands out from that tile itself. That tile can be floor on the floor, and you look at the floor and see the donkey. So the membrane basically makes you remember that this kind of shape is just different from this kind of thing. This is the background, yes, but it's a picture. It's something else in the system of perception. It's something that belongs in a system too. Furthermore, next up, so the perceptual drill is like a system of ensuring that you have stability in the kind of system. Yeah. The shape of consciousness is perceptive membrane. Well, now we have something else. How many minutes have we gone? The Palomar project. No, the pollen project. Now, the pollen project is the pollination of flowers because flowers can encode some DNA. The kind of flower, this kind of flower I like. I've seen it kind of in the old time. It's this today, but yes, there's some genetic code. I can't put them in the flower itself, but the genetic code is so diverse. That means the flower belongs to some pollen. I've been pollinated so many times. It can encode some pollen. That's what flowers do. So I'm trying to have my flowers in Nigeria as beautiful as those flowers because they can encode me genetically by having all my DNA in that system. So I have a flower that's so beautiful and does something. You can use it for a lot of things because they have a lot of DNA that's good. And if you look at the flowers, that means there's an ecosystem is healthy. So this flower is basically survives in the kind of barren areas. It's a very old red flower, but no, this flower belongs to the dinosaur period, Jurassic period, of the time when the dinosaurs were around. And this one has been around, it still exists today. So I'm trying to find a way to encode this flower in kind of a state of being. What else? What is art? What is art? Art is more than repetition of pattern. It's something that moves people and make you feel something. Something about art that's more than just art. It's more than what it is. Because art is something that works with kind of your sense of your sense of direction or sense of feeling, like how you perceive how you work around with something. When you're an artist, you are creating art, not for something that moves you or has meaning and emotion in it. Art is not just a painting the real world. Art is basically expression of statement, intent, and expression of statement, expression, intent. But art is like when you have a towel and a canvas, any kind of canvas, and you do something, you have some kind of glyph. There's some shapes that's impossible to art. That should be impossible to art. And when you draw something on a towel, art should be towel. Like when you engrave something into some kind of if when you change something out into kind of rock or something like that, you are creating some kind of glyph on them. But that glyph, if that be exposed extends some dimension, extends some dimension, extends outwards, and then goes back inwards, and you can detect how that was chiseled. That is art. That's what I call art. Because art allows you to experience it in a different way. Things that my brains would never like which comprehend. Think of it like the children, like you have some kind of you are doing pottery and you create something unique. It's not. It's a way of expressing yourself, really. Art is expression, but it's not just it's a kind of a standard. That's what I see art as. It's like a tapestry of information, tapestry. Because tapestries are like ways of doing design craft. But, think of horns, think of a rock, and then I don't know what I'm talking about, but the art is having a symbolic meaning to the art itself. So art is encoding some information that you can decipher onto some kind of angle, and that can be an art project. You know what I'm saying? But art is not just a figure of speech. It's something that moves people. Art is basically why OBINexus is a design first. Basically we design stuff. We're not just we design and technology company. The constitutional company. So we prioritize design, because design means you have some design, you also actually into your mind, and you are doing some work, and you are doing something that's more than just art. You are creating something, distilled information that can be deciphered from angles, from many demographics. That's what I believe art is. Because you can have this man do a drawing of art, do a painting of art, and he drew that, and that can warp the mind, because that painting, that shape should have been impossible to do on a 3D plane, and he done it, and we didn't know how to do it, but if you use the wrong technique, you see it's possible. So but if you use the right technique, it's possible. So that's what I'm saying. Art is like that, because art exploits dimension. It's not a exploitation of dimension. It's a creative, unarticulate of dimension. Art doesn't exploit the dimension. It uses the kind of philosophy of the dimension to dictate what is possible by the kind of your cognition process. So it's not a exploitation of the dimension per se. It's a creative oversight. That's just what dimensions are, to encode the information I'm talking about. What is the Pollen Project? Now, the INSIGI is a human rights protocol for food, water, and shelter, transmitter, receiver, and verifier. They work in kind of echo chambers, echolocation. So when you send an INSIGI message, you're sending it once, and it bounces off the medium and the word, so you can verify it twice. So basically, that gives you consensual verification. So basically, it's like me in a bathtub and screaming, "Hello world, here is my packet of here's my packet," and I hear that twice. That's me message verified. Because you're in a bathtub, kind of a bathroom, and that message has echoed twice. So that's what you do. That's what consensual verification will do. That's what it does. So it's a transmitter verification and the transmitter receiver verification of the message. The store of the flowers. Yeah. Flowers. I love flowers. Now, my flowers in Biafra State are so beautiful, guys. Come and see Nigerian flowers, guys. Come and see Biafra flowers. Because the Biafra flowers are like, can code you. My genetic structure here is only that flower. It's only that flower. And that flower is something that blooms. So I'm encoding that flower as a black man. My flower is like, my genetic structure is in those flowers already before I was born. So that's what I'm talking about. Flowers encode silhouettes of states, like the code your genetic structure via DNA, and the flowers I'm proposing in Nigeria are like literally like be such a long time. That's what beautiful things, because beautiful things encode nice things, and other things encode them. So flowers, these are the things you see as naturally beautiful, encode you in a kind of a way. It's not just you per se. It is like the flowers that bloom. They keep blooming, keep encoding the same information that is you, but at a genetic level. So I have to use AS2 splicing to do that, which is basically to prune out the structures I need to heal people, to form medicine. But I'll come back to that later. Later, medicine. Okay, that's it. That's my session continuing today. Oh yes, I'm not continuing. This is what I'm saying. Okay. So why also OBINexus is a confederation, because you have behind the aligned enemies behind the land, and when we're in that land, we own that land, and that is the confederation we hold. That's what basically OBINexus is kind of a beyond enemy lines concept. So it's someone trying to kill me, and I was in Nigeria right now, and I have a compound in the UK. I can always go to my compound. Doesn't matter the legality of it. I belong to the UK, but to get a youth passport and get to the OBINexus passport, and that passport will let me go from point A to point B without getting trapped in kind of black system. Because if a war breaks in my country, like Nigeria right now, I go to my compound in UK system and I'm protected by UK law and the OBINexus framework, the OBINexus law of the Ha, Iwu, and GEG. And that's the goal of the Confederation. So you're behind enemy lines. You're always behind enemy lines. We have a stable place to call home. Yeah, because yeah, but that's the goal. You're behind enemy lines. The enemies cannot get you. So if I want to do war breaks in UK, I go to UK. I go to my compound in Nigeria. That's the idea there. So basically, it's a confederation because you can join a treaty of, so you get OBINexus, the unrestricted compound, we have a really name, the security and welfare compound in unrestricted, the one in Newi, which is Muko West, and the one in Enugu, which is the masquerade one, which is one for, but work is not optional now in my constitution. So work is not optional. It's only optional when you have an injury or some kind of a defect or something. But that work is not optional. Everyone must work in my constitution now. So work is not optional. I changed it because it's not sustainable that way. Because I figured that if everyone didn't work, everyone can claim that they can't work, don't do anything. So they'll be lazy. So let's make everyone work. For now, as it is. So work is done. So all the different policies I'm trying to migrate to my constitutional framework of how it will via the UPower framework. Thank you for watching this video. UPower.